You have worked before with a lot of different functions, so you know that the idea of a function is just for creating a block of code. Every time that I need to execute that block of code, I can simply call that one just using the function name, and all the code inside that function would be executed. I can use this to organize better my code, or I can use that to execute the same code multiple times. So if there is something that I need to execute over and over again, I'm going to include that inside a function. For declaring a function, I just use the keyword function. I give a name for that function, and then I need to open and close parentheses. Inside that parentheses, I may or may not have some parameters. And then whenever I want to execute that block of code, I just need to call that function using the same name that I have created for that function, opening and closing parentheses. If that function accepts parameter, I can send arguments to that function. So what is the difference between parameters and arguments? Basically, they are the same thing, it's just your point of view. It's the same thing when we are saying that I am importing or exporting something from a country. It's just depending on your point of view, because one country will be importing while another country will be exporting. It's the same action, just two different points of view. Parameters and arguments is exactly the same thing. So a parameter is something that I will declare with my function. Whenever I have a function that will accept some arguments, I need to declare a parameter, which is like a variable. Actually, it's exactly like a variable that will be receiving those arguments. And then, whenever I invoke that function, I would just include the arguments, which are just values that I'm going to be sending to that parameter, to those variables. So, the exactly same thing, just depending on your point of view. You're looking into the function declaration, or you're looking into the function call. And then for define a function, there are three different ways that we can use for defining a function. The most common one is a function declaration. As I just explained, I just have the keyword function, the name of function, and I may or may not have parameters for those. However, there are two other different ways that we can use for defining functions, and one of them is function expression and the other one is arrow function. Let's take a look into both of them.